What's going on, everybody? This Afro Think Tank. I just had this small little experience, and I just want to share it with you, right? Now, I stopped at Aldi's because I wanted to get some soup. You know, I just got a taste for some soup or whatever. You know, sometimes you get a craving for something. So I go inside the store, right, and I buy my soup. I get to the aisle, and a black man comes in. He said, hey, brother. You know, I turn around, right, and he say, man, listen, I don't want no money. He said, I'm asking you this because I'm hungry, right? Black man, older than me. He got to be in his 50s and 60s. Black man looking at me in my face as I'm purchasing items. He's looking at me and telling me that he's hungry, right? Now, we know in the black community, we know, you know, the guy standing by the 7-Eleven, the guy standing by the liquor store, we know, right? And we also know that a lot of those individuals, they have mental issues. We know we have mental issues within our communities that we don't really get to deal with because we're all struggling and trying to survive. But we know they got ones that slip in the cracks. They be outside. You know, they may not be on drugs, right? They may be mental and people think that they're on drugs, right? Or whatever, you know, because people misconstrue people who have mental illnesses with people who are on drugs and seem like they have mental illnesses or whatever, right? Also, and they mix with people who are just plain desperate and like, for a man to beg another man for food in front of people, it requires you to have no ego. It requires you to humble yourself to the max, right? So the guy looks at me, and within an instant, he said, pistachios. He just wanted me to buy him some pistachios, which is high in protein, by the way. Good source of nutrients. You're going to eat something. Pistachio is pretty good. Got some fat content, right? So he goes and runs to get, I said, go ahead and get him, right? Because to me, my grandma, right, God rest her soul, she will always, when I would follow her when I was a child, I would follow her everywhere. And if somebody asked her for money, she wasn't having it. My grandma, old country woman, all right, from Virginia. All right, she ain't play that shit hard, all right? Looked like she came straight out the village, out of Nigeria. Like, no bull. My whole family looked like they came out of Nigeria, except for me. Both my mom and dad both light-skinned. They the only light-skinned people out of all their brothers and sisters, and they both got together and had me. How about this shit? Everybody was dark, right? But, so she taught me, she said, listen, grandson, if somebody asks you for food, you feed them. If they ask you for money, you don't give them because they're going to go buy beer. They're going to buy some alcohol. But if they ask you for food, you feed them. So I've always lived with that philosophy. If I got it, right, and somebody asks me for food, I'm going to do it. So as I take the pistachios from the guy and put it on the counter, the cash register is a white boy. Do you know this white boy grabbed the pistachios and threw that shit behind the counter? Like, you ain't buying that shit. Now keep in mind, I and this black guy who's asking me for food, he gives it to me. I have to already decide about it. This white boy grabs it and throws it over the counter. I'm looking at these two. I'm like, is this something I don't fucking know? Or you can't stop me in my head. And he says, yeah, this guy, this black, he didn't say black guy. He said, no, don't worry about that guy. He's always in here trying to sell food stamps. Right? And in my head, I'm thinking, right? I'm like, what's that got to do with me buying these pistachios? What's that got to do with you making a choice for your own, because you work here and you see him coming here all the time, that, you know, me buying these pistachios is not something I'm going to do. I said, food stamps. I said, I'm buying those pistachios. I said, he said, you buying? I said, I'm buying. He said, I can't tell you nothing. I'm buying those pistachios. Because even if the guys, I said, is he going to go outside and hawk these, I to the white boy, I said, is he going to go outside and sell these pistachios and make some money? Right? He's like, I said, I'm buying these pistachios, right? Because in my head, I'm thinking, I'm gonna pay the blessing forward. Whether I'm being taken advantage of, right? That's not my problem. That's only up to the ancestors right there. If you take advantage of people's kindness, that shit's gonna come back on you. But I will always feed a black man or a black woman. If I got it, I'm gonna feed them. I don't care if I may be being taken advantage of when it comes to food, right? Because I know I did the right thing. But that white boy thought he was gonna stop me? Shit. I'm like, you see, maybe in your fucking community, y'all don't do shit like that. I don't care if this guy got a mental illness and he's, okay, yeah, Aldi's now, he comes in here all the time and blah, 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 blah. So I'm walking out, and the black security officer, she said, yeah, they don't want him in here because he's always in here and causing trouble. And I'm sure he's not. He's just a regular black guy that's not afraid to talk. And I got in the parking lot, And I saw him walking around in the parking lot. You know, he's one of the, I'm pretty sure he's always around. I'm sure he probably lives around here, but he got a mental illness. We got a few of them that we see. They're harmless, right? And so I say, hey, come on over here. He said, that guy tried to stop you. I said, the guy tried to stop me from giving you pistachios. He said, that's messed up, man. They tried to stop you from feeding another brother. I said, that's what they tried to do, but I said they didn't stop me. And he said he was giving me my blessings, and he said, you're going to get your blessings. And, you know, and that shit right there pissed me off, because I'm like, this white boy, you in a black community, you work and live in the black community, and you decided, right, you sitting here at Audi's you probably getting paid $5 an hour, right, which is more than a lot of people getting paid, right? You're able to feed yourself. Somebody coming in here, you can clearly see, anybody commenting, you can clearly see there's something off about him a little bit, right? But he's harmless. He just talks. He's not bothering nobody, right? But when a man is hungry, he's going to do desperate things. Now, what if this black man, instead of being a humble, nice man asking for food, decided to go in and take that shit? What the hell was that white boy going to do? I'm telling you, there was nothing that white boy could do if that man decided, I'm going to go ahead and take this shit because I'm hungry. What if that black man decided to go out here and hurt somebody to take some food? Huh? But instead, he's out here humbly asking directly for food, not money. That shit just pissed me off, man. Don't try to stop me from blessing from giving my brother something. I'm never going to let a white person stop me from giving my brother something. I don't care. If I get scammed or taken advantage of, let that happen in in-house. You ain't got shit to do with that. He inserted himself on something that ain't had shit to do with him. Do your job, ring my shit up. Whatever I put there, you goddamn ring that shit up, give me my receipt, and then move on to the next customer. Mind your business. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with y'all. The man got his pistachios. Whether he really starving or not, that's not up for me to know or discover anything. But when a black man is in need, I don't have to know you. You're my brother. And if I can do it, I'm going to do it. And I hope that if I'm ever down bad, because God knows, man, you can be up and you can also be down. There are people who've been up, millionaires, who are right now walking the street and they can't find nothing to eat. If I ever find myself, for whatever reason, down, I will hope that I can walk up to a random black man in a black community and beg humbly for something to eat, and that black man would facilitate, or that black woman would facilitate me. That's how we supposed to be as black people. Do not let these other people tell you that you're not supposed to treat other people like human beings. Treat others the way you would like to be treated. It's very simple concept. Anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comment sections. Afro Think Tank, learn something, teach something. I'm out.